disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Mike Gibbs, what's up, Mike?
What's going on? He cut the music off. I was feeling it.
Hey, I saw you, man. I was trying not to laugh. That's why I couldn't look at the screen.
Laugh?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we're members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. Mondays on hiatus is Mimi and Lump with Raw. Tuesday, CTE, Chris, Carlos, Travis Experience. That's Tuesday. Wednesday is us, Fitz, Kicks, and Flicks with Eugene and Mike. Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. And on also Thursday nights, we have the Main Game weekly recap. That's Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Mike, it's showtime. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Excited about this podcast. I watched the Cobra Kai again because I had watched it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And, man, I watched all of it. I'm not even going to lie. Watched all. It's like addiction, man.
It is, man. I'm good, man. Like I said, man, I can't tell you how many times I've watched this series, both seasons, season 1 and season 2. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, but I've seen it a bunch of times, man. You know, last week I said that we were going to review the first 5 episodes. That's not going to be able to happen because I did my math wrong, Mike. So, you know, before when we watch a movie, most of these movies that we've seen so far are an hour and a half. So normally we normally do the first 45 minutes and then we'll do the second 45 minutes on the back end. Well, with this one, I said let's do the first 5. That's 2.5 hours, and there's no way we were going to be able to cram 2.5 hours worth of info into you know, our hour plus of our podcast, you know. So what we're going to do today, I think we're just going to do the first 2 episodes. This is how we're going to do it. We'll do the first 2 episodes today. Mm-hmm. Next week we'll do 3, 4, and 5. The following week after that, we'll do 6, 7, and 8, and then we'll do 9 and 10 on that last one. And then we'll save season 2 for when Cobra Kai season 3 gets ready to drop. Yeah, so we'll do that. That's how we're going to roll, okay? All right, cool, man.
So big news, man.
What's
big
up?
News.
What's up?
Somebody got their yellow belt. Got their gold belt.
I
saw that, man.
Man.
The legacy continues.
Yeah, man. Champ got his gold belt. I tested him, and he was so happy. And I was surprised that he did basic form number 1 as well as he did. So I went ahead and gave him his gold belt. He's been waiting for so long for his gold belt. You know, I actually started training him before my other kids, my students, before I opened up the school. So he started actually when he was 4 years old, but he hasn't been consistent. And then his mom has had trouble getting him to the community house where I teach. So I was taking him to meet with me to Lifetime Fitness. And he would have swim class, and after swim class, he would have karate. So that was working out pretty well. And then his mom had some things going on again, and he wasn't able to make it out there with me. So now, you know, this summer, me and him have been working together, and he finally did it. He finally knocked out basic form number 1, and I had to give him his gold belt. He was happy, man.
He was excited.
After he took, you saw the picture, like, he had his clothes on, his regular clothes, and he wanted to wear his gold belt. He left the gold belt on for the rest of the day. When I took him back to his mom, we went over to my mom and dad's house. He had his gold belt on. When I dropped him off at his mom's house, he still had his gold belt on. So he was geeked to get his gold belt, you know.
That's good, man.
Yeah, man. So he was happy. He was real happy. How was your weekend?
It was good, man. Did some car racing in Ohio on Sunday. Worked on my car Saturday. They just opened a Portillo's restaurant out in Fort Wayne. So it's like a Mexican. I had Mexican today for lunch. It's a Chicago style, like hamburger, hot dog joint. So that was big. Went down there. Other than that, nothing, man. Slow motion.
So I saw you online. I saw the pictures on Facebook. You won money racing the cars?
Yeah, you win money racing the cars. I wouldn't do it if you didn't win money, man.
I just thought you were just having fun, man. I just thought you just did it just to have fun.
It is fun. In all honesty, it is fun. I used to race the dirt cars, and you never won money. So, I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. It does get frustrating building the cars, or if they don't work or you break or something. But it's fun to try to get out there and compete with those fast people that do it. But
I mean, are you modifying your race car? Okay, people, we're actually talking about remote control cars, RC cars. Mike goes out and races them. So people modify them so they can go faster?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it.
Okay. He is going to grab his car. This is the first time I ever heard of it. I never knew that I never knew that this was a sport, an activity where people actually race cars and let alone race for money. That's sweet. I like that. Yeah, it's nice. What kind of car is it?
Man. You gotta see the name. You gotta see that name right there. Look at that.
G Money. That's sweet.
You gotta get the money. Gotta get the money. No, it's fun though.
What kind of car is that?
People put different. That's a Team Associated. No,
the car. Like what kind of car is that?
Oh, the body. That's a 69 Nova, I believe. But they got all kinds of bodies you can buy for them. So, because people do trick paint jobs and all kinds of stuff. It's an interesting hobby. It's something to do in the downtime while we're not doing nothing. So, something I can tinker with.
Are people betting on these races also?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like real drag racing, man. They got a top 10 list. They got you can challenge the champion. People do grudge races for money.
So it's like a circuit. It's like a circuit.
Oh yeah, they do them on all over the state. It's really blowing up. It's blown up within the last 2 years. There's a spot in Pontiac where they race, and it's a hot spot. So it's fun.
Okay.
I haven't raced in Pontiac yet. I raced in Livonia in Ohio, but other than that, good to go.
Okay.
Cobra Kai.
Let's get into Cobra Kai. But first, before we jump into the series, let's do this. Let's quickly do a quick little recap of the Karate Kid. Now, we're not going to go into detail like we normally do with most of our movie reviews. So let's go briefly over the Karate Kid. So basically,
give your version.
You got a separate version or something?
I guarantee you our opinions differ on Karate Kid, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, number one, I love the Karate Kid series and the movie. And it's so weird that I do not like Daniel. And he's the hero.
Neither. Okay, me either. I'm glad we're so alike. See, that's why you and I do this.
That's right.
We have the same fucked up mentality.
I guess so.
Daniel is the devil.
Yeah, man.
Daniel's the devil. Fake ass black belt. Look at Miyagi-Do is a McDojo, man. Hell no, man. Fake ass karate.
So yeah, man. It's honestly, man, something that always bothered. There's two things about the Karate Kid that actually have always bothered me. Number one, there's no way in reality, in our activity. Okay, so if you're listening to us for the first time, Mike and I are both black belts. Mike has multiple black belts. I'm a 4th degree black belt in American Freestyle Karate. What's yours, Mike?
I'm a 6th degree black belt in Muay Thai Sudo, and a 1st degree black belt in Aiki Shindo, which is kind of like a Japanese version of Shorin-ryu. And then I have rank in Kabuto Okinawan weaponry. Okay,
so sport karate, which is the style of martial arts is going on in the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid, and actually the third Karate Kid movie. That's sport karate. That's an activity that we both grew up in and what we did when we were teenagers. There is no way in hell that a white belt will ever enter the black belt division and compete and win. It just don't happen. It would not happen. Daniel, when he got jumped in the Karate Kid movie, and it was Halloween, when he got beat up by that fence, because Cobra Kai, they were all dressed as skeletons. And Mr. Miyagi saved them. And the next day, they went to see Cobra Kai. So this is November. The tournament is in December. There's no way in hell, no way Daniel should have had the skills to be able to compete with anyone. He should have lost his first fight 3-0. Go ahead, Mike.
I know a guy that was a white belt and almost won the middleweight division at the Nichols tournament. And he'd only been in karate for about 5 months. But he was athletic as hell, and Jeff Gears beat him. But he beat I'm not going to say no names, but he beat some black belts. And your uncle will remember this, because your uncle was like, damn. But it was my boy that I grew up with, and Jeff Gears smoked him, right? But he beat some local guys, and we were at the Lots of Nichols tournament, so you know what style that is. There were some guys he beat, and he was a white belt, so he got close. But you're right, no white belts coming in beating anybody. No,
that's rare.
If a black belt beat you, Gene, if a black belt or a white belt beat you, I'm taking your belt.
Man, I would be disappointed with myself. I would be hurt. Like the stuff that we do. Your skill levels have to be, just off the charts if you're going to step in and. I'm not even going to say anything from our director. I'm not going to even respond to what the director is saying. But there's no way. You have to have a special set of skills to be able to step in. And especially, so the tournament is under 18. So this is the juniors division. The juniors division, they really bang. They like with an attitude, and with these juniors. There's no way in hell. Right. I can't see it. I just can't see it.
In our local tournament, I'm just gonna say it. There was a guy that fought in our seniors division, and he was an underbelt, and they put him in there. And somebody's like, "You gotta take it easy on him. If you have to fight him." Luckily, I didn't draw him, because I said, "I'm gonna fuck him up."
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck him up, because he ain't gonna beat me. I'm gonna hit him.
Now, was he a brown belt?
No. He wasn't even an intermediate.
Wow, so he was pretty much a beginner.
They had him in there. Now I know the guy.
What is the purpose of that?
And I don't care.
I don't understand. What is the purpose of?
Here's the thing. So I get it.
I don't. So tell me, I don't get it.
So in the local circuit here, the adult underbelt division is basically non-existent. So. I think like your uncle might get some people, some of the other terms like Mr. Gorham, he might get some people because, they draw from other areas. So they might bring some adult underbelts, but it's rare to have the adult underbelt. So I understand the guy wanting to get the experience, but come on, man, stop. Because if I get out there playing around and he beats me, y'all never let me hear it. I would have to get my belt up. So I'm going to give him the business.
Right.
But I don't like Daniel either. I agree, Gene.
So Daniel comes, he moves from New Jersey with his mom. He moves to California. They drive this raggedy ass car all the way from New Jersey all the way to California, right? And he eventually sees the girl on the beach, Allie, who is Johnny's girlfriend, supposedly. Now, Johnny says, he explains, and Allie says in the movie also, that they have just broke up. They have been broken up for a couple weeks. Now, in the series of Cobra Kai, later on, we find out that, Allie broke up with Johnny because he was drunk and missed her birthday party. That, to me, is not a reason that people would break up for long terms. Now, granted, they were kids. They're teenagers. They're young people. Eventually, you talk it out, right?
You never dated Karen.
No, I didn't. I haven't.
Karen will leave your ass for missing her birthday now.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But if something like that happened, I would have been like, be gone. Just get out of here. Just go. I'm not gonna beg to get you back if that's the case. And Johnny approached her on the beach to talk to her about the situation. She didn't want to talk. Now that's when Daniel jumps in and interrupts their conversation. Now there were other guys around who knew both Johnny and Allie. It was not Daniel's place to get involved at all.
And Daniel knew they were all together because they was all dressed alike with them jackets.
Yeah.
You knew you were about to get jumped.
Well, he should have. But he didn't. He didn't get jumped.
No, but you knew you was about to.
Yeah, Johnny beat him up for interfering and butting into his conversation. Well, he pushed him down, and then that's when Daniel stood up and, got into a fighting stance and, he let Johnny know that I'm the aggressor now.
What did he knock him down with? What did we talk about last time? That boombox.
Yeah, he just took a boombox and pushed him down, because that was Allie's boombox and he was getting involved in their conversation, So anyway, so they fight and he ends up beating him up. Now that should have been the end of the situation, right? But it wasn't. So they're playing soccer and one of the other Cobra Kai guys, Bobby. Now to me, he's just playing soccer with Daniel and he's trying to go for the ball. And I don't know. I never understood what he said. And, he sticks his foot out and Daniel trips. Right. And then Daniel just hauls off and hits Bobby in the face. Daniel, once again, was the aggressor and attacks this kid, So he gets kicked out of the soccer team. Now, fast forward a little bit in the movie, Daniel has dinner with his mother and he sees Cobra Kai. And he doesn't know that's where the guy's trained. So he goes in, he looks, and as class is going on, he sees Johnny, and he can't believe it. So he leaves. He walks out. Now, after dinner, Daniel is riding his bike home, right? And Cobra Kai comes. They surround him. They're all on motorcycles, and he's on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. And now, for whatever reason, Daniel falls off the hill. They never touched him. They never pushed him. Daniel is on a bike. If he was scared, all he had to do was stop pedaling. That would have been it. Now, Daniel, of course, they've already beat him up a couple times or had altercations. He wasn't going to try and fight all those guys. At least I don't think he would have tried to fight all of them. He probably would have begged for mercy or whatever.
He has no training at this point.
No. Well, he actually did because he says... Mr. Miyagi, I remember when Mr. Miyagi comes upstairs to fix the water faucet, and he's doing karate out of a book. And then Mr. Miyagi asked him, you do karate? And he said, yeah, I took a couple of lessons at the Y for a few months. So he's had a little bit of training, and then he's looking at the book. So actually, his skills might have been of a gold belt or yellow belt. If he had a couple of months of training in New Jersey and then, some time with Mr. Miyagi. So maybe it takes like 3 months to get a gold belt. So, maybe he was a gold belt for real, who knows? So once again, he ends up falling down that hill. And then that's when Mr. Miyagi decides to step in and help him and be friendly to him. And he fixes his bike up and then they start forming a bond with each other. And then school play. I'm sorry. I don't know what that's saying.
Me either.
Okay. I'm going to keep going. Okay. So then the school dance for the Halloween. And Daniel sees them and he sees Johnny and he decides to dump a water hose on Johnny. After a couple weeks of not even, coming in contact with each other, they left him alone in school. And now Daniel once again bothers them. Why would you do that? Why would you dump a water hose? Now, have you seen that recently? Do you know what Johnny was doing in that stall? He was rolling a joint. I never knew that as a kid.
Was he?
Yes, he was rolling the joint. Watch it again. You'll see it. He's rolling the joint.
I haven't watched Karate Kid in a minute.
Anyway, so let's quickly go through that. So then that's pretty much eventually how the fight starts. When Mr. Miyagi decides to go to the Cobra Kai dojo, they end up talking to Kreese, and then they decide, well, we're going to settle things at the All Valley, and they go to the tournament, and that's where Cobra Kai starts off. Cobra Kai starts off with Johnny. We see Johnny and Daniel fighting in the finals of the tournament, and Johnny loses. He gets kicked in the face, and he falls down, and he's laying down. He's laying down on the mat, and when he wakes up, we pull back. The camera gets closer to him, then it pulls back, and Johnny is in the present day, and Johnny's in bed, and he's waking up. It's morning time for him, and man, he's just surrounded by garbage in his bed. It looks like it was some potato chips in there, and he has beer bottles all over the place and beer cans. And man, he looks like he has a rough life, you know. He wakes up, he grabs a sip of beer and spits it out because it's nasty. And then he gets up, starts his day. He's frying bologna, dumping ketchup on it. Man, it just looked like he just had a rough life. So they really don't really get into what happened between that tournament and this point. We get little things here and there throughout the series in both season 1 and season 2. But I was thinking, like, come on, man. Like, okay, you lost one tournament. One local tournament. Like, and your life falls apart for one local tournament. Come on, you know.
But they did say in one of the episodes that it was like in that area of California, that karate in that era was like Texas or football, high school.
Right. So, but and you're right.
Big deal, man.
And if that's the case, there should have most definitely been other tournaments around. If karate was so big,
right,
then there should have been other tournaments around for them to participate in and go to. Like once a year, a tournament once a year. That's crazy. But anyway,
it's the All Valley.
Right. It's the All Valley. So Johnny gets he leaves the house. When he walks out of his house, he sees Miguel. And Miguel approaches him and wants to talk. He introduces himself. He says he's new, and he wants to help. He has some questions about the water, and then Johnny really doesn't want to be bothered with Miguel. You know, he says that one of the best things about living in that apartment is that he doesn't have to talk to anyone. And then he goes about his business and he leaves. And we also kind of see that Johnny is a handyman because he has a toolbox with him. He pulls out of the parking lot and he sees a Daniel LaRusso billboard, and he wasn't happy when he ends up seeing that. He says another one. You know, you got anything so far, Mike?
No, just a little bit about Miguel. Miguel, you know, kind of, they don't really give us a backstory to Miguel yet. He just kind of just like I don't know, a different version of Daniel, I guess we'll say right now. But you get into Miguel later. But right now they don't really go into Miguel. It's more focused on Johnny, and you can tell that's where the show's going to focus around. More Johnny than Daniel.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, yes, Miguel is kind of like the new Daniel, but Daniel, from the very moment of the Karate Kid starting, Daniel was like a little spoiled brat. You know, he was complaining that he had to travel all the way to California, and you know, he wasn't happy. He didn't get happy until he got invited to that party. You know, he was complaining the whole time. You know, so you know, I didn't like him from that moment.
Giving his mom a hard time.
Yeah,
she was looking for the job, giving his mom a hard time.
Yeah,
he was.
So Johnny is a handyman. He's doing electrical work. He's cleaning gutters. He's hanging TVs. So that's we find out that's his occupation. Now he's at one of his customers' house and he's hanging a TV. And she's upset. She comes into the room. She's upset that he hung the TV on the wrong wall. And, you know, she said the wall that's across from the door, and he took a look at behind him, and, you know, he was like, this is the wall across from the door. And she basically wanted the TV to be on the other side of the room. And then she wanted him to move it. And he said he couldn't do it. You know, he said it was, you know, he has to refill the holes and match the pane. And, you know, he said that he would come back tomorrow to do it. And she wasn't happy about that at all. You know, she wanted it done right then and there because she had company coming over. Then she complained that he took a shit in her bathroom.
He had to go, man. He had to go.
You know, she said was, you know, he said you told me that's where I had to go, and she said, well, I didn't know you were gonna take a shit, you know. So he said, you know, let's just calm down, you know, just stop bitching at me. And when he said that, she took that the wrong way. You know. Yep. So after that, Johnny, of course, he's on the phone with his boss. His boss fires him for saying that because the boss thinks that he calls her a bitch. And he says, I didn't call her a bitch. I said she was bitching. It's a difference. And I agree with Johnny. It is a difference.
I do too.
But that's just the kind of people that we are.
Too.
So next scene after that, so Johnny has lost his job now. Next scene after that, Johnny's in the liquor store. He's trying to get a slice of pizza. This was real nasty, this part of me, because the guy grabbed the pizza with his bare hand.
With his hands.
His bare hand.
I know. I was like, what?
Now, did you see he even had a Band-Aid on his finger?
Yes. Yes. I did notice that.
I was like,
oh no.
I wouldn't eat, especially in this Corona time now.
Yeah.
You most definitely. He didn't have a plastic glove on. He didn't have a plate. Nothing. You know, and he's taking money and he's, you know,
gross,
giving people.
Man.
Yeah, I would have left. I wouldn't have ate that pizza. But right. I guess Johnny was hungry and he wanted that slice of pizza because right. he was looking in the glass for a minute and he finally picked which slice of pizza that he wanted. You know, so well, anyway, him and the store guy, the cashier, it's his store. They have a little altercation. He speaks in Spanish and he says that Johnny has a little dick. Miguel walks in. Also, I forgot, Miguel did walk into the store and he asked for Pepto-Bismol. The guy told him where to go for Pepto-Bismol. So then Miguel came over and he told Johnny it was for his grandma. But Johnny, of course, he remembered Miguel from earlier, but he didn't want to talk to him, you know.
Right.
So Miguel then tells Johnny what the store clerk says, and, you know, Johnny grabs a slice of pizza and ends up throwing the money at him and then walks out.
Right.
And Miguel is still in the store. You got anything to say about that?
No, that's just that I was going to comment on the cashier guy being nasty, man.
Yeah, he's extremely disgusting.
You covered it.
Okay. Yeah. So then outside.
Oh, and I got a question though.
All right.
So I'm trying to think. This is the store that's in the corner of his dojo, right?
Yeah.
In the same plaza. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember because, like I said, I watched them all. And I was thinking back today when I was driving home from work. I'm like, was that store in the plaza?
Yeah. So then she goes outside to eat pizza. He's sitting on the curb, and then he sees a homeless lady. And this lady's name is Lynn. So I'm on Facebook. There's a group called the Cobra Kai Dojo, and I'm a member of this group. And some of the stars from the movie have joined this group. So occasionally they'll comment and talk about different things also. So the lady's name is.
Did they say her name is Lynn in the movie?
I think I have to find out where they
like
said
when she was holding the sign.
Well, that was later on when she
right,
was doing
but I don't remember them saying her name was Lynn.
I think it might have been in the credits.
Oh, okay.
I had to get back with you about that.
Hold on. What's the group called?
Cobra Kai Dojo.
Man, stop.
You see it? Yeah.
I got to join it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good group, man.
Lord.
It's a good group. Actually, oh man, I know I'm messing up the review, but you know who else is in that group who also talks a lot is you remember in the first Karate Kid movie, there was a guy that obviously was a real martial artist, and he ended up fighting Johnny at the very end before Johnny fought Daniel. His name was Vidal.
He looked like he might be Filipino or something.
Yes. That guy, he's in that group, and occasionally, he'll talk. And he actually said that in the first Karate Kid, when Mr. Miyagi was doing the crane on those stumps when he was on the beach, that was actually him that was doing it. He was the stunt double for that. So,
wow.
Yeah, so he said that he's a real martial artist, and he helped out with the movie. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Jeff. Jeffopedia comes through again. Jeff, I swear, Jeff knows everything about martial arts. Everything.
Everything.
So then, Johnny's outside. He's eating pizza. Lynn tells him to keep it moving. She doesn't want him hustling in front of her store. He says, "I'm not homeless." There's my car. Meanwhile, Miguel comes out of the store and he has an altercation with Kyler. When Johnny came out of the store, a car pulled up, a Jeep, and about 4 guys get out. Now, this guy, the main guy, his name is Kyler. And they're going into the store to get beer. When they come out, I don't know what happened. They never explained what happened inside, but somehow Miguel must have said, like, "Are you guys ready for school?" Or I don't know what. Right. But then the store owner finds out that these guys were underage, so they weren't able to buy any beer. So they're upset with Miguel. So they come out and they push him down. They're getting ready to fight him. They're picking on him. They're just being bullies. And they grabbed the Pepto-Bismol that he had for his grandma and they dumped it on his head, And, I felt bad for him when I saw that because Miguel is new to the area. He said that he just moved in. So he doesn't have any friends or anybody, and that has to be rough to be somebody who's a loner and, now you're getting picked on, So anyway, Kyler dumps the Pepto-Bismol onto Miguel and calls him a bitch. And then Miguel calls him an asshole. Now, when he says that pisses off Kyler because he comes back and he punches Miguel. Now, Johnny heard him say that, and he kind of looked over his shoulder like he was kind of impressed that he said that to him,
Right.
Miguel tries to run, they push him, and then he bumps into Johnny's car. Now Johnny tells them, just leave him alone, and then they turn their attention to Johnny. Now, at this point, this is also funny to me also because Johnny still has his slice of pizza in his hand, right? Now, he's about to fight these guys. He throws the pizza down. Later on, as they're fighting, Lynn picks up the pizza and she's eating it.
Yeah.
You noticed that? Okay, I didn't think too many people noticed that happened.
Oh yeah.
So I noticed that like maybe my 4th or 5th time after seeing it, and I popped big time.
Oh yeah. Oh, they kind of focused on her for a minute, so you see it.
I did, but I wasn't paying attention. I was so into the fight. I just thought that she was looking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, she had it.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And the fight breaks out. And, Johnny, he's, even though it looks like he hasn't worked out in a long time, but I guess he still has his skills inside of him, So, he doesn't kick. Kyler actually remembered Johnny. So he said that Johnny actually came to his house and cleaned out their septic tank. So, for his dad. So, they were familiar with him. So the fight breaks out. Johnny does a kick, outside to inside crescent kick.
He He did a sweep.
Yeah. So I mean, he's taking all of these kids down, and he's not even thinking like these guys are like in the 10th or 11th grade. He's beating the hell out of them.
Beat the hell out of them.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation like that? You never had to do nothing like that.
Yes.
To multiple people?
What? Fight multiple people?
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, I got worked.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did tell me about that on the other show. That's right. You told me about that on the other show. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
But my thing is this: I don't care what grade those kids are. You hit my car. You hit my car.
Oh yeah, you won't even let nobody drive your car. So let alone somebody bumped up or they throw somebody on top of your car.
We would have had a problem. We'd have had a problem.
So yeah. So Johnny's taking him down, and Miguel is impressed when he sees it. Kyler comes up behind him, he slams him down to the ground, and he's hitting Johnny. Johnny still gets up and elbows him a couple times, flips him over, and the other guys get back up because they're all laid down and hurt. And they eventually get back up and come at Johnny again, and he takes him down again. And then eventually he has Kyler in a position where he has him in a chokehold. And then that's when the police come, and they hit Johnny. They mace him. Then they hit him in the back of the head, and then they end up taking him to jail. Now I was thinking, like, man, like Miguel didn't say, "Hey, these guys were bothering us. They were bothering me." Right. I know that store owner had to hear the commotion out the parking lot, or there had to be some cameras or something around. Like I thought that was kind of extreme that Johnny had to go to jail. But then again, maybe he was on probation or something. Well, they're minors. Yeah, they're minors also. So did you like this fight scene, this choreography?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. I mean, I don't mind it in the whole movie. I mean, at first it was kind of slow, but as you get into more, episodes, the fight scenes get better. But it wasn't horrible.
Yeah. It was pretty. It wasn't bad. So they ended up making him, hit him in the back of the head, ended up taking him to jail. So now I guess he ends up spending the night in jail because that was nighttime, and the next scene is daytime, and the sun is coming up, and Johnny's leaving the police station. He goes home. Now Miguel is actually sitting outside waiting on him. I was wondering, like, how long had he been waiting there? Like, he didn't know when Johnny was coming home. Like, he didn't know Johnny was coming home at a particular time, But he was curious about the style of martial arts that Johnny did, and he was asking him what it was that he did. Johnny doesn't really want to talk to him, but Miguel did thank him for helping him. Johnny really didn't want to talk. He wasn't even sure if he can be around kids.
Right.
And Miguel asked him to teach him some stuff so he can defend himself. But Johnny says that he's not an instructor. He can't help him. And then he tells him that he lost his job. He got to find a new job. Miguel gives him the idea you can open up your own karate school, and he says that he's not a sensei. He basically tells him, like, stop being so annoying. That's why you get bothered. Stop being so annoying. And he pretty much just walks away from him after that. Then when he walks into his
apartment, a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question. Let me interrupt for a second. Would you had taught him? Would you have taught Miguel at that point if he asked you?
I probably would have been like Johnny, like what Johnny said. Like, look, man, I got to find a new job. I don't have a job. I'm not thinking, because you got to think. Like, I mean, I don't know how much money Johnny had saved up. It's not like he could just say, I'm about to go open up a karate school. He eventually does that, but we find out why in a second and how he did it in a second. But at this point in time, he's thinking about, his livelihood. Like, he just lost his job a few hours ago, probably like less than 24 hours ago. He just lost his job. So he's not thinking about that. Plus, he has said that he hadn't done karate in a long time. And he obviously must not have been teaching anyone all of that time either, So It's no telling. So I probably would have did just like Johnny did and be like, going somewhere.
Right.
So he goes inside of his apartment, and then there is his stepfather, Sid, and his nurse. They're in there in his apartment. I want to know, how did they get in the apartment?
Well, I think Sid probably paid for the apartment. He probably had a key.
Probably so. But it didn't seem like they would have that good of a relationship for him to have a key. But he was in the apartment, and he says that I'm the one that bailed you out. So I was thinking, how did he even know Johnny had got arrested? Because normally you're the person that make the call, your phone call. I don't think he called Sid, or he wouldn't have been surprised to see Sid at his apartment.
Right.
And Sid is looking at pictures of Johnny's mom, and he says, he's pretty much just saying how much he cared about her and how he loved her and what attracted him to Johnny's mom. But Johnny really doesn't want to talk to him. He doesn't want to hear anything he has to say. And then Sid asks him about Johnny's son. We find out Johnny has a son, and he's about 16. His name is Robbie, and we'll see him shortly. And Johnny hadn't talked to Robbie or seen him very much lately. Eventually, Sid pulls out a check. He's tired of Johnny. He told Johnny's mom he will always take care of him before she died. But now he's had enough. Johnny has had all different types of issues and problems and stuff over time, and Sid wants to buy him out of his life. So he writes him a check. I want to know how much that check
it was. That's what I said too. I actually stopped it and was like, you can't even.
I want to know, like how much would that be? Like, what is the ticket for that?
So here's my thing. He ended up, putting the check back together in later scenes. And so you figure it's in California, so it's expensive. It's at Plaza. He probably had to put first and last month's rent. So it was, and then he bought mats, mirrors, everything. I'm saying that check was $30,000.
You know what? I was thinking like 50.
Might be 30, 50. Yep.
Because he got signs and everything, and
true that.
Yeah, the way that he decorated the academy was something. And also later on he returns the money to Sid, and it was a big envelope when he returns the money to him. But still, $50,000. I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking like, man, $50,000 is not really a lot of money to say I'm done with you. But then again, Johnny is like 51 years old in this movie. This is 34 years after the original Karate Kid movie. So Johnny, he's 51 or 52 years old. So I guess $50,000 would be okay enough,
Right.
Because you're almost a senior citizen. Like you shouldn't expect this old man to still be taking care of you,
right.
at that age, So maybe 30, like you said, man, anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. But Johnny doesn't want it. He tears it up and he puts it down. He didn't throw it. Well, he did kind of throw it away later on. We don't see it. We don't see it right here, though. So Sid eventually leaves. He's had enough with Johnny, so he decides to take off. Anything else, Mike?
No, covered.
Okay, cool. What is my next scene? Let me see. Let me look at my notes.
Man, you know the difference in the vibe in our podcast when we enjoy the movie. Like, I'm into you, and then when this is someone, I'm visually, like, when you're saying it, I'm visually, like, replaying the movie in my head, and I'm like, oh, my God. It's painful.
Yeah.
It's a movie I don't like. I'm like, but I love this movie. It's, like, flowing.
Yeah. So the next thing, Johnny is getting drunk. he's sitting down. He's pouring alcohol. He's pouring liquor in a beer bottle, a beer can. He's drinking it. Fuck it. He's getting fucked up. he's had a fucked up day and a fucked up morning, a fucked up night. So right now he's just getting fucked up, right? And he's feeling bad. It seems like he's feeling bad about his life because he's starting to reminisce how things turned out for him after that damn tournament again. Like, I'm just like, get over that tournament. Like, I'm quite sure. I mean, there have been tournaments that I competed in and lost that I don't even remember anymore. you know, especially when I was 17 years old. Like, that's nothing. Like, it's whatever. But I know it's for the movie. I get it. Do you know the movie that he was watching? Was that Iron Eagle? Okay, so it was Iron Eagle. Okay. So he's watching it and he's reminiscing, and there's a part in the movie that he's watching, and there are some commentary that's going on, and Johnny is relating it to his life, even though it's pertaining to the movie that he's watching. Right. But it's almost like he's looking like God is talking to me, you know, because he sits up and he leans forward as he's listening to the movie, and then all of a sudden it cuts off and goes to commercial, and it's punk ass Daniel with his auto dealership, you know, and that just snaps him out of his days. And Daniel's smiling. He's looking so corny. He's looking so goofy. His auto dealership is slashing prices, and he's actually doing martial arts, and it looks like he is actually chopping the prices. I hate that type of stuff, man. I really don't like that type of. I can't stand. I can't stand that type of marketing. It's corny.
You never like Melfire Superstar?
I'm gonna tell you what. You know what? I did like that as a kid, but you know what? I met Melfire. I met Melfire and talked to him right before he passed.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was doing some work, and I went up there. He had a new car lot, and his son Melfire III was him, and he was doing something like they had some other side business going on in this car dealership. Now, what they wanted to do, they wanted to have T-Mobile cell phones that they were going to give out to their customers also. So that's why I was there. I was doing that deal for them. And I ended up meeting them and talking to them, and I ended up eventually getting a car from that lot also.
I used to like that like I guess you would say corny Melfire commercial. No. And yeah, I used to like the Detroit Edison one with Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
Be like, look up.
Yeah, if I don't see anything, that's good. Yeah, I remember the commercial. But you know what? But with the Melfire Superstar commercials, he was the superhero. He wasn't dressed up, at least as the commercials I saw. He didn't have no football outfit on, and he wasn't running around and breaking tackles, and the tackles were the prices.
He had a gray business suit with a red cape.
That's right. That's Superstar. That has nothing to do with his real life. You know, that was the difference for me. You know, so anyway, so after he sees Daniel on TV, he's had enough. He's trying to switch the channel. The channel's not changing. He eventually grabs a liquor bottle. He just flings it right at the screen, messes up his TV, smashes his own TV, and he just decides, you know what, I need to go for a ride. He gets in his car, he drives, and once again, he's thinking about his buddies. He's thinking about the Cobra Kai guys. He's thinking about Allie. He's thinking about the damn tournament again. Right. And then as he's driving, he's drunk. He's drinking also. He sees the complex. He sees the All Valley Sports Complex, and he pulls into the parking lot. And then he goes over into the parking lot, and he stands in the area where he last saw his instructor, John Kreese, and John Kreese is yelling at him for losing to Daniel and getting second place, and breaks the trophy. And then Johnny's, telling him that he's crazy, and John Kreese eventually puts him in a chokehold, and he He has Johnny, and Johnny just he's daydreaming, and he sees all of this happening right in front of him. And as he's watching himself from, I think this was the beginning of the Karate Kid Part 2, this scene that he's looking at. Boom, his car gets hit. And he snaps out of it again. He takes a look and looks, and he sees 3 girls in a car. They just hit him. I know you would have been livid, just like how he was. He was hot. He was pissed.
Actually, no, I wouldn't have, because I got my cars insured for way more than they're worth.
But you told me you gotta. But you gotta.
I'd have got that check. I'd have been happy. Now, if you jump on it and do some damage, I'm not getting it totaled. But if you total it out, I'm all right with you. Maybe I should let people drive my cars. If you mess it up, don't bring it back unless it's totaled.
But Mike, he loved this car. He liked this car a whole lot. And it wasn't a good looking car. Like it was an old Firebird. And
the paint was faded.
The paint, who knows what else?
That's it. It was straight.
We never got inside the inside of it,
right?
Man, but
right, true.
I bet
you it smelled like BO and beer cans.
Yeah. I'm quite sure it did. You know. So anyway, he goes over.
Yeah,
he
probably
sees.
Right.
He sees the girls. He's looking at them. He's telling them to open up the door. They're not opening the door up, and they eventually end up pulling off on them. He gets in his car to go after them, and his car won't start. He's stuck. A tow truck comes. I'm assuming he calls to get it towed. He finds out that they're going to tow it to LaRusso Auto, which he most definitely is not cool with. He does not want it going there. He tries to tell him not to take it there. The guy takes it there anyway. Next day, he goes to the dealership to pick up his car. He walks in. He puts his hood on. He puts his sunglasses on. He doesn't want to be seen. He does not want to run into Daniel. Not at all. He goes over to the customer service desk, and he asks for his vehicle. And the lady, she's so nice and sunny and bright. And, she's like, why do you want to have it towed away? Like, we got the cheapest prices in the valley. We kicked the competition, and he's not trying to hear any of it. He just want to go. He gives her his receipt, and she has to find it. And she finds that it's on some other lot, so she tells him it'll be a minute. Now, behind Johnny, there is one of his sales associates, Anush. And Anush is talking to a new customer, and he tells him that Mr. LaRusso is going to want to meet you. And he goes to get Daniel. Now, Johnny hears this, and Johnny does not want to stick around. He wants to leave. He doesn't want to run into Daniel. So he tries to sneak out. Daniel's there. He sees him, and he stops him, and he wants to talk to him, and he walks up and give him a hug. He asks how he is. And then he calls over his sales associate, Anush, and his cousin, Louie. And then they decide to make fun of him. Now, this once again, it's Daniel being an asshole. I can't feel sorry for you,
Me either.
One of the guys even says, this is the guy from the tournament. Oh, this the ass you kicked at the tournament. And then he says, technically, I kicked his face. And then they all laugh. That shit wouldn't have been funny to me either.
No.
Man, that shit pissed me off. That pissed me off for real when I first saw it. Like when I saw the trailer for that, I was pissed off.
I don't like Daniel. I agree.
I don't. So
headband, I'd have took that headband off. I'd have been in a tournament.
Choked him with it.
I'd have hit him. Hey, I'd have hit him late and took the headband off. Been like, it's mine, and I'd have tossed it to you on the sidelines or something.
All right. So then Daniel asks Johnny what brings him in, why is he there, and then the customer service rep, she comes up and says, he wants to have his car towed away, and Daniel doesn't want that to happen. He said, no, I'm gonna help you out. And then he sees that it's an old Firebird, and he wants to help Johnny. I guess he's looking at Johnny, and Johnny does kind of look disheveled. He's not shaved. His clothes are a little older looking. So I guess Daniel kind of feeling sorry for Johnny.
But this scene though aggravated me even more. I don't know if you caught it. Well, go back and watch it because he's on that iPad and he's like friends and family discount.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I was like, oh, you're an asshole.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I hated that part too.
Oh, yeah. I'd have been like, oh.
I wouldn't have wanted his help either. But then he just said, look, I just want my car. And then Daniel shows him like, look, this is as low as it can get. The damage is more than the car's worth. So basically, it was kind of total. And Daniel then says, you know what, we'll do it for free. That was nice of him to offer that. But a person like Daniel, he's gonna hold that over. He's gonna hold that over your head. You don't want to take anything like that from him.
Yeah, he got over on that. He was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah, he was. I wouldn't have been able to deal with that either. And Johnny, when he saw the price, how much it was going to cost to get it repaired, he just kind of knew, like, okay, go ahead, do what you got to do. And that was it. So then Daniel tells Johnny, just wait there 1 second. He goes away, and as he walks away, his daughter comes in. And then Johnny sees that was one of the girls that was in the car that smashed up. At that point, for real, in real life, I would have been, yeah, Jeff, there you go. At that point in time, also, I would have been like, hey, that's one of the, hey, come here, where's your friend? Who was driving the car? I would have went over to her, because now we have somebody that's going to pay for the car. Right. Daniel, you don't have to do shit. You don't got to fix a damn thing,
I'd have got one of them Porsches. Your little daughter's going to go to the police station.
Right. So then, so he sees Daniel hugging his daughter. He decides he was going to turn and leave, and then Daniel catches him again and comes back to him and hands him a bonsai tree. That pissed me off too. And he's smiling. He's smiling when he gives it to him.
Everyone gets one.
Yeah. I would have did the same thing as Johnny. Yeah. I would have walked outside, dropped that shit right there on the ground, and kept it moving.
Yeah.
That's what he did. Now what Daniel actually did was he lit that fire in Johnny, because as soon as Johnny went home, he saw Miguel and said, "Okay, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to be your sensei." And Miguel smiles and gets happy. We see Johnny goes into his apartment. He grabs a check, and we assume he's going to tape it back together.
Yeah.
Because the next thing we see him in the dojo getting everything ready. Mm-hmm. We see him shake with the landlord, and
he's shaved.
He's shaved, mm-hmm. And he's pretty much getting ready to rock and roll. And that's the end of episode number 1. All right, episode number 2. This shit pissed me off immediately when it started off, because it was showing, episode number 2 started off showing Daniel's perfect fucking life. Yeah. He had Frank Sinatra playing. We see Daniel wake up. He's smiling. His kids are having breakfast. He has some espresso. He's just living a wonderful, happy life.
Leave it to Beaver.
Right. We see his wife. We see her in bed. Then we see her get up in the morning. He goes off to work. He's just happy all fucking day. He's having a good day. He's walking the lot. He's helping out some of his mechanics. He sees his wife that's in a meeting. He walks by. He just kind of smiles at her. He's just flirting with his wife, which is all fine. It's all good. You can do that. Then it's the end of the day. He gets in his car to go home. He's driving, and then he sees the Cobra Kai dojo in the strip mall.
Yeah.
And immediately his heart sinks, because he immediately starts having flashbacks to what happened to him in the first Cobra Kai. The first Karate Kid movie.
Right.
We just see all the bad stuff that happened to him. We see him falling down the hill. We see them beating him up, punching him in the stomach at the fence. And he's just stuck. He's shocked. when he sees the dojo. But you know what? Honestly, in my opinion, the third Karate Kid movie, that was a lot more personal, a lot more damage than what Johnny did.
Yeah,
Johnny, and he's worried about Johnny. Like he should have been
worried about Chosen.
Well, yeah, Chosen tried to kill him.
Chosen tried to kill me.
Yeah, so, but
I'm not even worried about Johnny. Daniel makes no sense. This guy tried to kill me.
Yeah. So then he, that was the end of the intro for episode number 2. The next thing we see Johnny and Miguel there in the dojo, and Johnny is teaching Miguel about striking first. Miguel has asthma. This is a funny part. He tries to because Johnny is saying the Cobra Kai student creed pretty much, and then he asks Miguel, "What is the problem?" Miguel says, "I have asthma," and he takes his inhaler and he throws it and tells him, "Not in the dojo. You don't have it anymore. Not asthma or peanut allergies." So,
I love Johnny.
I did, man. Because a lot of things that I've seen him say is stuff that I've said probably to students. Probably not about asthma and peanut allergies. Cause my son has that, and I don't think those are made up. Because I've seen Champ have some issues, not with peanuts, but I've seen him have some asthma issues. Anyway, there are Johnny is just trying to get Miguel to start thinking a new way,
confidence.
Yes, having confidence in himself, striking first. He tells him that Cobra Kai is a way of life, and then that's when the city health department rep comes in. This guy, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny says, you hear to lose some of that gut. I had to laugh. I popped when he said that because the guy's face, he just had like a shocked look that someone would just say something like that to him as soon as he walked into a business. But I guess the building is not up to code and it should not be open for business. You got anything you need to say, Mike, so far?
I've done that before, man. I ran a business without even telling the city. Shit, I have been. I have been, Johnny. And then they came. I said it's a private. I just rented it to train myself privately. That's why I don't have a sign out front.
You know what? You just said something that reminded me. Like that's one of the things that I really did like about this show is you and I, especially you and I, and just about everybody that's part of the Martial Arts Center Network, we have both been Johnny and on Daniel's side because we were kids growing up in martial arts. Like we did that also. Right. Our best friends were also martial artists.
We were the first generation of Karate Kids. Yes.
And then we became Johnny, the adult Johnny, teaching other kids martial arts, So I really relate to this this TV show because of that. Like I did it. I grew up doing this, I even mentioned one time to I think my brother. I was talking to Trav and Avery and Morgan, and I said that the TV show had got me excited about teaching, and Trav didn't understand that because he's like, he can understand like you getting excited for a tournament or getting worked up or to compete, but he didn't understand about teaching. And I'm like, I've done this. You know what I'm saying? I really get into it. I've had students who couldn't do basic form number 1 that I helped teach, and they eventually got it. Who couldn't remember 1 steps or couldn't remember basic form number 5 or basic form number 6. And then you see them growing and changing over time. So I really related to this TV show a lot, Right.
So I related to when they walked out.
When they walked out?
I've had parents come in and complain about something. I'd be like, you can take your kids somewhere else. Oh no, we're good. I'm like, no, we're not. There's the door.
Complaining about the building?
Never do it for a living.
Man, that's
about I went to. It's always sport karate parents. Oh, my son went to the tournament and you didn't train him enough, or you didn't come to his ring when he was fighting. And oh yeah, Karen tripped up that.
Well, I've never had any. I've never had any of those issues. Like that. I've never had anything like that. But
I've had parents complain that their kid can't wear a black uniform.
You know, not right now. Like I don't even think about that type of stuff. But growing up, we couldn't either. We had to wear the traditional white uniform. We couldn't get a different color uniform until we were black belts.
See, that's what I had. I have like different levels.
Okay.
Like, yeah, and they were like, well, everyone should be able to. It singles everyone out, and it makes everyone's like competing with each other. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah. I mean, iron sharpens iron, and they're going to step that game up. Hopefully because of that. Right. Let's zip through this, man. So the health inspector tells them that here are the list of requirements that you have to do before you can apply for the certificate in order to open up the door. So this building that he has a lot of work that has to go on. Has a lot of work to do, and he says that he'll come back next week to see if it's up to code. The next scene, we see Daniel and his wife Amanda. They are at a beach party, and their son, this little fat bastard, man, I can't stand him. I can't stand this little kid, man. He is constantly complaining. Well, Jeff says, yes, I have one. Okay.
I'll read it.
Okay. I'm not gonna read it on there. Okay. Now, Daniel's son Anthony, he doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to sit around and play video game. Daniel's trying to get him to interact, do something, and he says, he doesn't want to do it. Daniel gets up and goes over to get a drink. And he's talking with his wife Amanda, and then that's when Samantha's friend Aisha and her dad approach, and Aisha wants to know where Samantha is. She hasn't seen her all summer. Now these are two girls who grew up together, who like the same things, but Samantha wants to be part of the cool crowd. Aisha's not one of those people who's trying to be part of the cool crowd. So I guess they refer to her as being a nerd later on in the show. Actually, Amanda, Daniel's wife, does. She refers to her as being a nerd, and she says that Samantha doesn't want to be a nerd. Also, she wants to be part of the popular crew.
That's messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Like she can still be friends with her. It's not like Samantha even said that in the show, but she just spent a lot more time with these other stuck-up Encino girls, who are actually some mean girls. So Amanda sees that something is bothering Daniel, and she asks him what's wrong, and he gets ready to tell her that he saw the Cobra Kai dojo. And then off screen, you just hear Anthony scream, "Dad, where the hell is my drink?" What the fuck? Like, I think I would have punched him in the stomach. I probably went to jail. I probably would have been. There's no way my son's gonna say, "Where the hell is my drink?" Right. For real, somebody will have to hold me back. For real, that can't happen. You can't allow your child to say something like that, because they are going to keep pushing that envelope, and one day they're going to say something in front of other people to test your gangster, and you cannot let that happen. You cannot. Anthony, man, I don't know, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I slapped the shit out of his little fat ass.
Yeah. That's not. That would have been bad. That would have been bad for real. Okay. The next scene, we see Miguel. He's in the dojo, and he's cleaning up the dojo. Johnny comes back in, and Miguel asks him about the trophies. He sees the trophies, and Johnny tells him, that he used to compete, and he went undefeated his junior year, and he asked him what happened to his senior year. But he doesn't want to talk about what happened with Daniel. Miguel's phone's ring, and it's his mom. He tells his mom that he's in debate practice. And after he gets off the phone with her, he tells Johnny that she doesn't approve of violence. When his phone rang, it was I don't know what music that was. Johnny didn't know either, and he didn't even know where the music was coming from. But eventually, he tells Miguel to get some Guns N' Roses. And he says, "What is that?" Now, that's something that has happened to me before. I've mentioned an artist to a kid before, and they were like, "Who is that?" or "What is that?" And I just kind of I just walked away from them. Like, there's something that you should know. Like, if I say something like A Tribe Called Quest, you should know who A Tribe Called Quest is. You should know who Outkast is, Right. So I know I probably sound like an old man, but I don't give a fuck. The next scene, Samantha is having a party at the house, and Daniel and his wife, they pull up. They did not know that this party was going on. She has guys there, girls there, music playing, people are playing in the pool. They're just having a good time. When Daniel pulls up, Daniel comes and he sees everything that's going on. He's pissed. He kicks everybody out of the pool. And he also sees that they're wearing his swim trunks also. Like, why would they even, number one, why would they even put those on? They knew they were coming to hang out at her pool. Why wouldn't they bring their own trunks, number one?
That's because I'm going to tell you what happened. The girls were all hanging out, and then when the boys found out they were hanging out at the mall or something, and they were like, oh, they're all over there. And they drove there, and then they were like, oh, let's get in the pool. That's what happened. Trust me. My dad had a pool. You're
right. You're probably right. Mm-hmm. You're probably right. But still, like, I wouldn't want to just put on somebody's trunks. That's sanitary to me. I just wouldn't.
Hold on. You're in high school, and all the high school girls, you putting on the trunks.
No, I'm going to say it got to be a Walmart or a Target or something around the area. Let me run over here and go grab something right quick, and then I'll come right back. I'm telling you, man. To me, that's like putting on somebody's underwear. I'm not putting on somebody else's underwear.
Keep going, man. Keep going, man.
All right. So now Daniel is upset. He's getting everyone out. And Amanda pulls him to the side to talk to him, and she let him know that that's not the way you should go about doing it. To talk to Samantha, you shouldn't embarrass her like that. And he says that he doesn't want her to become one of those privileged Encino brats, Right. The next scene, Daniel is cleaning up his home dojo. He sees pics of him and Mr. Miyagi, and then he also sees a pic of him and Samantha when she was younger, and then he starts reminiscing about when he was training her and how she grew up.
Right.
The next scene, we see Samantha. She's talking to her friends on the computer, probably Zoom or something like that. And one of the girls, Yasmin, she asks if Samantha can pick her up for school because her car, she said, quote unquote, she hit a deer. That's what she told her parents when she really hit Johnny's car. So she was the one that was driving the car that hit Johnny's car. So Daniel then actually walks in and he apologizes for interrupting Samantha and her friends from talking. And then he sits down and talks to Samantha, and he apologizes for how he behaved. And then she also apologized for having the party without getting their approval first. So, they kind of hug it out and squash it. And then Daniel wants to know if there's anybody that was at the party that he needs to worry about. And she says, there's nobody I need to worry about. I like someone, but you don't need to worry about him. I can handle myself. She tells him his name is Kyler, and Daniel asks her to bring Kyler over for dinner on the weekend so he can get to know him, Next scene after that, it's the first day of school for these kids, and Miguel is in the lunchroom. He's looking for a place to eat, and he sees Dimitri and Eli. This is the other kid. I don't like Dimitri. I can't stand him. He talks too much. He complains too much. He always got a smart mouth for something to say. He needs a fist in his mouth. I don't know who I like more. I don't know if it's Anthony the son or Dimitri. I hate both of these characters. So these people are very good actors because I can't stand them. I can't stand them at all. So as he's sitting there, he's talking with Dimitri and Eli. Samantha and her friends come in, and Miguel wants to know more about them. This is the first time that he's seen Samantha. Dimitri tells him, don't waste his time. They're the rich girls. Stop torturing yourself. And then we go to the table with the girls, with Samantha, Yasmin, and Moon. And they see Aisha come in. She sits down at another table, and then they make fun of her. Well, Samantha doesn't, but Yasmin does. But she still should have checked her, like, yo, that's my friend. Don't do that. Don't say that, Be respectable a little bit, something. But she didn't say anything. She didn't stick up for her friend at all. But Aisha didn't know that they were talking about her anyway. Then Miguel is talking with Dimitri and Eli, and, he's asking them if they ever spoke to them, and Dimitri is pretty much a pathetic loser. And he says that he never has spoken to them, and it's best that he doesn't. But Miguel doesn't believe that. He says he's going to strike first. He decides he's going to get up, walk over to them. He sees Samantha. He's about to approach her, and that's when Kyler swoops in. He sits down next to Samantha. He puts his arm around her, and Miguel kind of turns around, goes back and sits down. And Dimitri has something smart to say, but fuck him. We ain't gonna get to that. The next scene, Johnny is teaching Miguel how to punch, and there's a dummy. It's called Bob, and he's trying to teach him how to punch, and he has no type of form at all. He's punching this thing all wrong, and Johnny's trying to teach him. Johnny's phone rings, and it's the principal to his son's school, and the principal says, your son was caught with Molly, which is a drug. Johnny did not know that Molly was a drug. He thought it was a girl that he was hooking up with. And the principal told him no, it was an illegal drug. And Johnny gets him asked to speak to Robbie on the phone. Robbie gets on, and he's very disrespectful to his dad. He calls him a pathetic loser, and that's pretty much it. He gives the phone back to the principal, and the principal says, well, I guess I'll keep trying this, Mom. And Johnny says, yeah, do that. And then he comes back over to Kyler, and he's trying to teach Kyler how to punch. Now, he's frustrated with – I'm sorry, not Kyler.
Miguel.
He's frustrated because Miguel is not punching correctly. So he tells him to plant his feet and punch the dummy in the face. He tells him to picture his enemy. And when he does that, he sees Kyler. And he squeezes his fist together, and he starts punching, and Johnny is saying harder and harder, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the change in Miguel, in his face as he's punching his dummy, and he's getting more serious, and his form is getting a lot better as he's hitting it, and Johnny is starting to look like, oh shit, this is starting to work, because he's seeing the change in Miguel as he's punching this dummy. What was kind of funny to me was when he was doing that, because at first, before he started punching the dummy, we saw Kyler's face, and he did his little wave like he did in the lunchroom. And the very next scene, we see Kyler at the dinner table with Daniel and the family. And he's looking all presentable, and he's trying to look all innocent. And I'm like, look at this douchebag. Look at him.
I didn't like him, man.
Nah. So it seemed like Daniel was trying to impress this kid also, because he has some sushi.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to impress this kid? Like, I know if I was 17 years old, I wouldn't have known shit about sushi. Right. I most definitely wouldn't have wanted to eat that.
And he was so offended.
Yes. Yes, he was. Yes. Kyler did not want to try the sushi at all. He said that fish disgusted him, so he didn't want to even taste it, because Amanda even said maybe it's, have a little taste, and he said no, fish grosses me out. Samantha says, well, what about the fish sticks at school? And he said, yeah, fish sticks dope. You got some fish sticks?
Right. He said dope.
Yeah. So Samantha and Amanda go into the kitchen to see if they can find something for Kyler to eat. That gives Kyler and Daniel some time alone to talk. And then, Daniel tells him that he didn't like to eat sushi either when he was his age. He starts talking about Mr. Miyagi. And then he asks Kyler what happened to his eye. And he tells him nothing. It was wrestling. And then Daniel sees his hands are also messed up. Mike, where did you go? Oh, man, people. Trevor, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So Mike disappeared. You might have to do some editing, huh, Trav?
He might not come back. Maybe his computer died.
Oh.
I mean, we're at 80 minutes now anyway, so you really only got 10 minutes left. So
I was at the end of this thing anyway. You want me to just wrap it up without him?
Yeah.
You gonna edit? You gonna clean it up and edit it or whatever?
No.
Oh, skip it. So they gonna get all of this. All right.
We're live. There's no editing. Like, I don't know. We're live.
I'm talking about for the podcast part of it. I don't mean for the YouTube part.
It doesn't make a difference at this point. It's still live.
All right, skip it. I'll go through it. All right, so So Daniel is talking to Kyler. He tells him that he didn't like sushi either when he was young. He asked him about the fight, his eye. He says that he was wrestling. He then asked him about his hands, and then eventually Kyler says that him and his friends were jumped by some homeless-looking guy in the mini mall parking lot. And then Danny was curious about the mini mall parking lot, and he tells him where it is. So now he's put two and two together, and he realized this is the Cobra Kai dojo parking lot. So maybe this was Johnny who attacked these kids. So then Daniel takes it upon himself to go to the Cobra Kai dojo, and he walks in, and he sees Johnny inside. Johnny welcomes him as he comes in, and then Daniel says some things never change. Daniel tells Johnny he heard that he had beat up some teenagers in the parking lot. Johnny says that he just kicked the shit out of some assholes who deserved it. Daniel says Johnny Lawrence calling someone an asshole. Daniel tells Johnny to leave his daughters and her friends alone. And then Johnny tells Daniel they were beating up on a kid that was half their size. And then Daniel probably doesn't know. Oh, Mike is coming back. Here we go. Welcome to the room, Mike. You're back. You good? He can't hear me.
No, but he got.
Well, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
And everything I can hear. Everything just shut off.
Oh man. All right. Well,
I don't know what.
We all good. I'm getting ready to wrap this up anyway, man. I was just telling our loyal listeners. I was telling the loyal listeners what happened. I'm at the part now where Johnny and Daniel are in the dojo, and they're talking.
Okay.
And Johnny tells Daniel that he doesn't know his daughters. He probably doesn't know his daughters as well as he thinks he does. Daniel gets offended by this, and he steps a little bit closer to Johnny when he says that. That's when Miguel comes out. I missed the part. I skipped that part. I'm sorry. That was a funny part also. Did you like the part when Miguel asked Johnny, is there any particular way he should be washing these windows? And he says, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I like that part because if it was Daniel or Mr. Miyagi, it would have been some
reference. Yeah.
It would have been some fucking lesson in washing windows, probably like the wax on, wax off or something, Okay, so Miguel comes out of the bathroom and says the bathrooms are clean. He then apologizes to Johnny for interrupting. And he calls Johnny Sensei, and Daniel says, "Sensei, really?" And then Daniel tells Miguel, like, I don't even understand, like, why is Daniel so mad at Johnny at this point? Because he hadn't done anything wrong. He hasn't done anything. They haven't even, seen each other since.
It's hatred for Cobra Kai. That's it.
Yeah, but if Johnny had opened up a karate school and called it anything else, like Johnny Lawrence Karate, like, would Daniel still have a problem? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't know. But Daniel tells Miguel, don't believe anything Johnny says, or it's going to end up just like him. Like, he came in insulting him, and this is pretty much what kicks off the problem between them for this show. Then Daniel says, "You and I, we aren't done," and then he walks out. And Miguel apologizes and asks if he should do some push-ups, and Daniel says, like, yeah, right, like, you could. And then Daniel walks out, he gets in his car, and then Johnny walks toward the door, and he's looking at Daniel. Daniel's looking back at him, and then Johnny smirks at Daniel, and then end scene, that's the end of episode number 2. And then you pretty much know, okay, shit about to get real between these two after that. And that's it, man, for these two, the first 2 episodes. I knew we weren't going to be able to get 5 out of this.
No.
Well, and I was talking fast, too, man. So that's it, man. The first 2 episodes are done. I like it. I like the show. Man, I'm kind of bummed out about season 3, though. Got to wait till sometime next year before we even get to see it. You got anything you want to say about the first 2 episodes?
Yeah. I'm going to warn every martial artist out there. Everyone's watching this. So you're going to get the dumb questions. You're going to get can you do a kick? Did you learn from somebody like Miyagi, wax on, wax off?
Oh, yeah, we grew up with that type of stuff, man.
But it's bad now. It already happened, Tuesday? I've been bombarded with questions at work.
Oh, because of Cobra Kai?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm warning all the martial artists, everybody. You're going to get the stupid questions. Like somebody said, was your instructor like Miyagi or was your instructor like Kreese? I didn't know how to answer that shit.
Man, I mean, I have had people ask me, like, when I was in high school. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's not real world, people. That's not how it is.
I've had people ask me. They said, "Well, who taught you karate?" And I said, "My uncle." Your uncle's Chinese? Like, no. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Lord. Yes, I've had that numerous of times growing up. When I was like, no, he's black. Like, why would you ask me if he's Chinese? That's crazy. That's some crazy shit. Right. But yeah, like you said, man, we used to get, like, especially doing demos and stuff. People used to ask some crazy questions all the time. Like when we used to go out and do demos and things. Right. So that's it, man. All right, you got anything else you want to say?
No, excited for next week.
Next week, episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Cobra Kai. I'm gonna do my best to talk as fast as I can. Try and shorten them up as much as I can. It's kind of hard.
Good job, man.
It's kind of hard, man. It's really, really hard to shorten these episodes up with notes, but still not leave out topics, things that people want to talk about. And
we notice dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the pizza slice.
Yeah, like the pizza slice, right? But after seeing it so many times, you just kind of pick up on that type of stuff,
Right.
So, all right, people, we're gonna sign off. That's gonna be it for us. Make sure to check us out on the Main Game. At least I'll be on the Main Game show on Thursday night. I'm not sure if Mike is gonna show up or not. But
I made the first one.
3, 4, and 5. Yeah, you did make the first one.
I made the first one, and then my Thursdays have been crazy.
You're like one and done, huh?
No, I'll be back. I'm actually ahead on the podcast right now.
Oh, really? So you listen to CTE? You listen to CTE today? Okay. Alex and Jeff, they're gonna have an interesting one. This is gonna be the first time that they have not had people on their podcast, so they're just gonna be able just to talk a little bit and catch up on everything. I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Jeff's gonna have to get his Eric Bischoff on with his creative mind.
You know what? With our podcast, I'm able to tell people what our podcast is about, and also Alex and Jeff. But when I've known people who have asked me like, "What is CTE about?" and I'm like, it is. It's like a cornucopia of topics. Like it's just a bunch of different stuff that's related to martial arts.
It's the rabbit hole. You never know where you're going to end up.
Exactly. I mean, it's in the title. It's CTE. Like, you don't know where you're going to be at.
I'm just saying, like, when people have asked me, I'm just like, they talk about a lot of shit. I mean, because it was one time y'all were talking about the verses with Snoop and DMX. You know, so
I stayed away from the verses yesterday because we were up against Brandy and Monica, and I didn't want people to stop watching us to go watch Brandy and Monica.
So we're part of the Martial Arts Center Network, so there should be some other shows coming next few months, maybe 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike. Anything else before we sign off?
Nope. Have a good week, everyone.
All right. You guys have a good one, and we are out. See you next week.